The most important part of learning English comes down to a combination of study, practice, and time. If you can get those three down in the proper combination, you'll be well on your way to improving your English fluency. In today's video, let's learn how to study, how to practice, and why time can help you improve your English fluency. Are you guys ready to learn how to study, practice, and time can get you on your way to improving your English fluency? If so, then let's get into it. The first thing we're going to talk about today is how to study. And what I want you to think about is studying in context. I really want you to think about what is the big idea or the big picture. And to do this, the first thing you need to think about is what is your level of English? You can find this out through an online English fluency test, or if you do have access to an English teacher, have them give you a fluency test so you can figure out where you are in terms of your English. Doing this will give you an idea about where you are and what you need to work on to improve. The next thing you need to do is choose a text, and this can be written or audio, and make sure that it's at your level or slightly above. Just make sure that you don't go too far above or too far below. You really want to get it just right. Once you know your level, for example, level B1, then you can choose a topic, and today I'll go with sports. Finally, you can choose the type of text, which is going to be story, conversation, or news. Then, for example, you can go online to something such as YouTube and do a search just for those parameters. Another good option would also be an online course or a textbook. Okay, so the next thing that you need to do is read, listen, or watch that text. And first time, do it just for enjoyment. If you don't like that text, or if it's something that's going to bore you, it's really going to be hard to continue. So you really want to make sure in this step that you find something that you enjoy participating with. If you do find out that it's something that you have an interest in, then what you need to do is go back and study that text. Make sure to check that vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation together as one whole set. You don't want to break it up piece by piece, because all of those things together is going to be an important part of improving your English language fluency. It's also good to learn it together because that's probably the way you learn in your native language. If you do have the chance to get a language teacher, this is going to go a long way to helping you along in your studies. And now that we know how to study, let's think about how to practice. When it comes to practice, there's two ways to think about it. You can either go it alone or do it with other people. First, let's talk about how to practice alone. If you're using a video, for example, you can always pause and then repeat what you just heard. You can change words in that text to show your comprehension of what you're studying. Changing the tense of that text, for example, from present to past, is also another great way that you can study when you're on your own. Something I like to talk about a lot is shadowing, which is basically you repeating something right after that video while listening for pronunciation and fluency. If possible, try to record yourself so you can always go back and see where you made the mistakes, since there's going to be no one there to correct you. If you're going to do the second option, practicing with someone else, this could be with a speaking partner, or it could be with an actual English language teacher. When I first got to Japan and started learning Japanese, the way I got into it was through an English-Japanese exchange. This is a good way for you to focus on communication and fluency and not necessarily correcting each other. You can also take that time with your speaking partner to work on some words that you have learned in real conversations. Another good idea is slowing down to really work on grammar and make sure that you are getting everything out perfectly. This way, you and your partner aren't having a natural sounding conversation. You're really focusing on accuracy. When learning with a teacher, you have someone that can actually correct your mistakes and give you specific English language advice. Decide which one works best for you or which one you're able to do. I think there are benefits to both. Let's talk about time. Now, we talked about how to study and how to practice, but to really improve your fluency, you're going to have to do this same combination again and again over time. And like everything in life, the more you do it, the better and more comfortable you will become at it. You need to make learning English a habit. It has to be something that is done regularly, so really make it a habit to practice and study. Even just 5 to 10 minutes a day is better than 1 hour a week, but of course, the more study time that you can do, the better. Also, think about studying at the same time, day, and place. When I work at home, I try to make sure that work is confined to my office, so find your English study area and then create your English routine. Try to plan out your study content as well. If you know what your study plan is for that day, you don't have to waste time trying to figure out what you're going to do. Just get to your area and get started. For example, I like to prepare my students' lessons for the following week right when they finish it. That way, when they do come that next week, we're just ready to go and we can get started. Next, make sure that English is something that is important to you. Things that are a priority in your life, you usually find out a way to do them even when you're not feeling at your best for that day. If you do miss a day or even a week, just make sure that you pick it back up as soon as possible in that next day or that next week. Things do come up in life and sometimes you're just not going to be able to keep up with it. What you want to try to avoid is having that day or that week roll into weeks or months and then just think that you're going to be able to jump back in anytime and just pick right back up where you left off. So make sure that you stay consistent. Okay guys, I hope this gives you some great ideas on how to improve your English fluency. If the video does help you, how about sharing with someone else that you think it will help, and then click right here to learn some more. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. See you.